One. Hello and welcome to the Men's Roundtable. I'm your host today, Nathan Francis, and I'm very grateful and very humbled to be joined by Tanner. My listeners and viewers will know Tanner and my brother Jordy as well for this roundtable today. Jordy is a medium, so Jordy's Instagram is Jordy_medium13. You can find Tanner as Tanner the Mind Hacker on Instagram as well. And I've gathered Tanner and Jordy today to talk about the music, the mainstream music that's currently out there, and our journeys with that, and the music we listen to now. So this will be a very awesome chat today, talking about all the mainstream music and how our listening and our music tastes have changed over the last 4 years, given what's been going on and the information we have. So Tanner, Jordy, welcome. You want to introduce I can't even talk at the moment. This is really authentic, right? Tanner, you want to introduce yourself? We're not going to edit that out. We'll keep that in there for people to have a laugh at. Tanner, introduce yourself. Oh,
Yeah. Okay. Hey, everyone. If you don't know me already, I'm sure most of you do. My name is Tanner. I go by the Mind Hacker. I really work with gamers and addressing like addictions and their depression. That's really what I try to focus on, and learning why people self-sabotage and taking back control of your mind. That's what I really like to do. I have a couple different podcasts as well, and yeah, come check me out. I'm also live on Twitch every Thursday. So.
awesome. Jordy?
Well, I'm sure your listeners will know me pretty well by now. This is like the fifth or sixth time you've had me on.
Yep.
So I'm a psychic medium. I also do Reiki. My Instagram is Jordy_medium13. And I also have a YouTube channel that I post weekly readings. They kind of come and go depending on how the week goes for me and if I'm feeling it or not. But yeah, it's not every week, but it's definitely most weeks.
You get different guests on too.
Yeah, definitely get a
So
few guests on as well.
we'll put all the links to Tanner and Jordy in the bottom. But I guess today's agenda for this roundtable discussion is music and mainstream music and our journeys with it. So, Jordy, do you want to take the floor and we'll start your music journey, which I've had a front row seat to, but let's hear all about it. Where do you want to go with it?
Oh, gee, it depends where we want to start. I guess my music journey definitely has been interesting. It started very young. Our mum loves her music and loves all the 80s. And, music has always been a big part, especially of my life. And I know depending on how I was feeling, depending on what I was going through, I always used music as an escape, as something that I could just put on and just either sing or dance or just it was my escape. And it was my way of just being on my own and being away from everyone and just yeah, I mean music is very healing and very soothing for the soul. And I guess it really depends on the type of music that we listen to, which I've noticed is so important now. But yeah, I guess my journey started very, very young. I went to concerts. I think my very first concert was at age, I would have been in grade two, so I would have been like 8 or 9 was my very first concert, and I've continued to go to concerts ever since. So yeah, my journey with music has definitely been interesting. And as the COVID stuff happened and learning about different artists and learning about what they do behind the scenes, definitely encouraged me to change the type of music I listen to. So a lot more of my music now is not so much what I'm feeling, but it's more about more uplifting and more powerful. And I when I listen to music, I want to feel something. I want to feel, if you're telling a story in your song and you're able to make someone feel something, that is the most powerful thing to do. And that's what I like, is if you can tell a story and tell me whatever the song's about, as long as you can tell me a story and have me feel it as well, then I'll probably like it.
I like it. Well, Tanner, how about you with music, man?
Yeah, I really like your story, Jordy. I mean, I was pretty similar. I used to listen to a lot of music, and just like Jordy, when I was feeling down or something like that, I would listen to music. And what I noticed is that like I used to listen to like music that was more like sad music when I was down and kind of like get more into a funk. It can kind of take you like more into like an emotion, which can be a good thing to feel that emotion, but it can also be a bad thing that just kind of pulls you down deeper into a place and you get kind of trapped there, right? Um, so I used to do that all the time, and as I started to become more aware of music, I started to realize it has like a big hold on you, like a big like an effect on you, right? It's like Jordy was talking about, and it really noticed when I started to become more aware of what I was listening to. I started to think about like what are these lyrics actually saying, and like who is the artist that made it? Because there was a lot of like songs that still have some on my phone where I like put it on like shuffle and it's like listen to them like, oh yeah, I remember this song back then. I started listening to it for a while. I'm like, wait, what are they saying in this song? Like something like super negative or just like the most like weird lyrics ever. And I was like, okay, skip this one, skip this one. I just find myself skipping through a lot of the songs I used to listen to nowadays. So actually I don't listen to as much music as I used to listen to music all the time, like always have something on. Now I find a lot of comfort in like silence. Just like sitting alone with my thoughts. Uh I still listen to music. Actually, most time when I listen to music is with my son Oliver. He really likes to dance, and like he's a 2-year-old. And so we just get down and we start dancing and grooving. So usually it turns out to be some kind of like disco 70s music because he really gets down with that. But we try to be aware of like what the lyrics are because there's some like very provocative disco 70s music. So yeah, I mean that's really what I'm about. And then I've also been taking some interest into like the like frequency of the music. I've started to notice like there's certain frequencies of music that make you feel different. And there's actually one music that I found a while back, trying to get my son to sleep when he was like 1 years old. It was a 432 hertz frequency, like kind of like nature healing sound, and we play that every night for my son, and he just like falls asleep right away to it, which is like the frequency of the earth. So I think that's really cool. You know, 'Cause I would never have thought about that before I started looking into like frequencies and all that. So that is mostly what my story is. What about you, Nathan?
Well, yeah, I love how you put in the frequencies there because 528's the love frequency, and that was sort of the first sound healing playlist I dabbled into. And yeah, sound healing's great. But for me, music, I was going to be honest here, the music Jordy would listen to, I didn't like. So, whenever we were growing up as kids and stuff, the music that my mum and my brother would listen to, I didn't like. So I it wasn't really until iPods came out was when I actually probably started properly listening to music because then I was able to have my own sort of like headphones and that were there, and I sort of had my own playlists and stuff, like my own songs. But I did have a CD player. This is given my age now. You probably had a CD player too, Tanner. And I had like Backstreet Boys and who else did I have? Green Day. I love Green Day a bit. Backstreet
Oh
Boys.
yeah.
I had the old So Fresh albums where you have like the top songs of the year, and then they would make like a So Fresh hits of autumn, hits of spring.
You only had a couple.
I had a couple of
I
those. Jordy
way
had
more
most of them, but I guess once iPods came out and I turned 13, 14 when they came out, I'm pretty sure I was in high school and I had my first one. That was when I had the Backstreet Boys still on there. I had Green Day. I listened to a lot of mainstream music. I listened to a bit of music before I would go to sleep of a night. So I'd be on my phone or on the iPod. Yeah, so I listened to music a lot before I would go to sleep over the years. And then I guess I started this journey of awakening, and then I realized what the programming and the lyrics are in the music and how hypersexual it is at the moment. In the last probably 10, 12 years, it's turned interesting, which we'll talk about in a minute. And then, yeah, once my journey started and I started learning about the healing frequencies, which you touched on, Tanner, which I'll touch on now. 528 was the first sound healing place that our mentor Gina sent us, and I'm like, oh my god, like my soul, I had goosebumps, like I was resonating with that frequency. And then I've gone, well, what are the other ones? Yeah, 432 is the earth. Then you have the quadruple ones, which are the angel frequencies. I listen to a lot of them now, and it's just, yeah, like if Geordie's not home, I'll have the speaker on and I'll be playing sound healing or I'll just, I'll do what you do and just sit alone with my thoughts. It's actually quite powerful, man. So yeah, I've sort of, and then obviously when we're a bit younger, Tanner, because you're about my age, I listen to all that dance, electro, sort of techno, disco music, and that was, yeah. So that was interesting too. But yeah, I guess my journey went from boy bands to rock bands to techno, then earth sound healing frequencies. That's sort of been my journey with music. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's awesome.
yeah, as the host, a question for you guys would be, I guess, what have you learnt about the music in the last 5, 4, 5, even, what are we now, 2024? So 4, 5, 6 years. Yeah. Jordy, what have you learned about the music stuff?
I've learned that it's important to listen to certain songs. Like I know for me, I used to idolize a lot of these artists and really follow every song that they put out, and I was very I was very hooked on a lot of different artists. And once I learnt what some of them are about, it kind of changed my perspective on their music, and then really listening to their music with a different set of ears. Like some of their songs, I was like, whoa, I can't listen to that anymore. I can't sing that anymore, because I love to sing. So when I'm listening to music, I'll love to sing as well. Um, and I've done that since I was a little kid. I used to put on little performances as a kid. I used to love it. Absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved music, and music has always been a big part of my life. So once I learnt the kind of songs that I was singing, especially as a kid, like some of the songs that I used to sing, I was like, whoa, I'm singing that at like between 5 and 13. And I'm like, someone that age, as a kid, really shouldn't be singing some of those songs. Like it was quite interesting. And that's probably the biggest thing I learnt, is the words that have written in some of these songs are either powerful in the sense of making you feel something, or helping you, or whatever it is. But then a lot of them are powerful in the sense of you're manifesting certain stuff in your life. You're manifesting shit in a way, and it's like you kind of don't want to be manifesting that. Like a song that just came to my mind is, there was a song, I think it was Taylor Swift's Anti-Hero. Like she's programming you to say that you are the problem. And it's like, well, are you the problem? Because yeah, she's programming every person who's singing that song that they are the problem, when they're not.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I actually had a similar experience. I mean, I honestly didn't listen to much Taylor Swift. I had some friends who did listen to it a lot. I never got into it, but I know Nathan mentioned Green Day, and I used to listen to some Green Day, and it makes me think of this, like the main song I think is probably one of their like worst programming songs is American Idiot.
Yeah.
Uh, is like I want to be an American idiot. It's just like that.
Really?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, really? Do you want
Mm.
to be an American idiot? It's like so much like there's so many songs like that, right? When you actually start to listen to the lyrics, you're like, wait, what are they saying? Like, really? I don't think people actually really even listen to the lyrics, even though they like sing them. They don't actually like think about what they mean. And I always hear people's like when I've seen other people talk about this, like how bad the lyrics are. They're like, well, everyone has a different interpretation of the lyrics. It's like, well, you may interpret it a different way, but at the same time, your mind is still taking a meaning with what the words mean, right? So like consciously you may be taking a different way, but subconsciously your mind is taking it in a certain way. And it's all programming your mind to think a certain way or to manifest something else into your life, right? So it's really important that if like any of the listeners here like just listen to the same songs they've always listened to, I encourage you guys just like to be more aware of like what the lyrics are. Like next time you're like listening to one of your favorite songs, it's like, okay, what are they actually saying in this song? And ask yourself like, and think about it. And you may find that it's a fine song. I do have songs like from the past that I listen to. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's still a good song. And then some I listen to, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna listen to that again. So, um, and then I actually sing as well. I'm not like probably a very good singer, but I like to like take like popular songs and then just add my own words into them and make them kind of like
Oh,
unique ones. I usually sing it for either my dog Sadie or for my wife Battle in like a joking kind of way, or for a son Oliver. Like we like make songs out for Oliver. So yeah, actually kind of like it's been like growing on my wife Madeline, and she started singing too. So it's cool. And now like Oliver is he can't like fully sing yet, but he'll start doing like little like babbles and stuff. And I'm excited for him to start singing. So,
I like
so
it.
I think it is a good way to get the energy out and get your expression out.
Given this podcast is all about authenticity, Tanner, why don't you give us a couple of bars of these songs that
No, it's not like I just do it. It's like spur of the moment. Like in the
All right.
moment, like a random song just pops in my head, and I'm like, all right, and I'm changing his diaper, and I'll start, like singing about like changing diapers or something to like a certain lyrics or something. I can't think of it on
That's
top
all
of my
right.
head right now, honestly.
I like
But I'm
it.
also
Okay, that's good.
I could sing like I do also like when I'm like driving in the car, which honestly I don't drive in the car by myself much anymore because my wife has been driving me lately. But when I used to drive in the car by myself, I used to like sing like affirmation songs. So like find a way to like put my affirmations into a song. So like one that my wife actually started was like I am wealthy every day. Yes, you know I'm wealthy. Yes, you know I'm wealthy. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
Yeah,
love it.
yeah, yeah. And just kind of go and like, add new verses in, right? Like it's a way to like get your affirmations out and still be able to sing and kind of have fun while you're driving. So I used to like always have the radio on my car, and now I just turn off the radio and I'll just go sing some affirmations. So
I like it.
there you go. I sang for you.
Yes. Jordy? No.
Yeah, no, probably not gonna happen.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I can totally relate to that because I used to have the radio on as well. And I listen to like if the footy was on the weekend, I would listen to that obviously, or I'd listen to whatever radio show was on. And now it's either a music playlist that Joy and I have made, or I'll literally drive in silence too and just sit alone with those thoughts driving, or I find myself singing some stuff which is interesting as well. I find myself sometimes singing or just doing some breathing techniques as while I'm driving as well. I find that I'll do the box breathing, so I'll breathe in for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, and then release for 4 seconds and go again. I find myself breathing a lot too, doing those breathing techniques to relax a bit. So yeah,
Nice.
bit of a mixed bag. But the music's interesting too because if anyone wants to jump on my website, I'll have a link to the blogs. I've been doing some song reviews lately, and that's been the catalyst for this podcast. And I thought you two could jump on. And if anyone wants to read those blogs, they can. I've gone into Taylor Swift's music. I've gone into Scissor's music. I did one last night on Jack Harlow, and I've
Doja
also
Cat.
and Doja Cat Paint the Town Red. And it's been interesting going back into those mainstream songs and really unpacking them and the programming behind them, and also the music videos as well. Because when you watch not only listening to the song, when you're watching the music video, that's a whole nother kettle of fish, whole nother ball game. And when you have the eyes to see the programming inside these music videos, then you go, well, what am I watching and what am I listening to? And sometimes with these artists, they'll have a song about. We'll give Doja Cat an example. Her song's about painting the town red, about devils and stuff. Then you watch the film clip and it's literally that. Or sometimes you'll hear a song and it's not even about devil worshipping, yet they'll have it in there. So sometimes the music videos, which you'll find, aren't necessarily about the song that's currently being played. So you're thinking, well, what's really going on here? And I'd love for you two to give me some insight, or give my listeners some insight into, well, then there's the music videos. So what do you guys, how's that? Yeah, have you found the music videos as attached to the song as well in the last 20 years, Jordy?
I know for me, so when growing up, I used to, so I'd have certain artists and I'd listen to all their music, and every time they put out something, I'd listen to it. I'd also watch the music videos because I also loved the music videos because I loved the creativity of it, and I loved before I realized that a lot of it was programming, I used to love the creativity and the insight into understanding a bit more of what the song's about, because that, to me, that's what a music video used to be for me, was understanding, okay, so this is what they're singing about. But they've kind of changed that a little bit into, it doesn't matter what you're singing about, they're going to program you in a certain way. And you're going to, when you watch the music video, it doesn't matter what the song's about, it's not necessarily, they're not necessarily showing you what the song is actually about. And that was probably the hardest thing, especially with some of these music videos. Like, I've gone back, every now and then I'll go back and watch an old music video or an old or listen to an old song that I used to love as a kid, and I'd see the music videos completely different to the way I used to, because there was some that I used to love and I'm like, oh, how that's so creative, that's so this and that, and then it's like, whoa, that's actually not as creative or as interesting as I thought it was.
Interesting. Tanner?
Yeah, trying to think back to like some of the music videos that, I mean, honestly, I don't watch any music videos at all anymore. Knowing what I know about the mind. I mean, I guess sometimes there'll be some music videos, but I'm usually pretty aware of, like, trying to be aware of what's going on if I'm watching it, try to pick out like the subliminal messages. But that's the thing, right? There's a bunch of like subliminal messages in these that you're just not gonna be able to pick up, because consciously your mind can only pick up so much information compared to your subconscious mind. So, and really makes me think about like how just like I used to think like all the artists would like write their own songs and do all their own stuff, but it turns out a lot of people write their songs for them, and then a lot of people actually like probably give them ideas for what to do in the music video. So then like who's that actually coming from? And then,
100%. And I was just going to add to that, like, some of the artists, they've only co-written the songs. So like what I've realized, especially with this co-writing, is they may have only written like a couple of lines of the song. The rest is written by someone else. And it's like, they're putting their name on it, but then it's only co-written by them. They may have come up with the chorus, or they may have come up with a couple of lines in the verses. Like, it's so interesting.
yeah. And I just had some pop in my head while you're talking about that. For some reason, Miley Cyrus and like the song "Wrecking Ball" came in my head, and it's just like you just see like stuff is going more and more like, I mean, it's even like with TV shows, right? Things are just getting more and more sexualized. Like Nathan actually has talked about at the beginning of the podcast. Like when you look at a lot of the music videos nowadays, it's like holy, like people and kids are watching this, right? Like it is very concerning to me. It's not surprising to me anymore that it is going down this route, knowing what we know. And then you look at like Super Bowl shows or like the Olympic Games too, right?
Grammy Awards.
Like, yeah, Awards. They have music going towards that, and like everyone, usually people who are not even really into football will watch the Super Bowl like halftime show, right? And like the most recent one was very odd, and like I think all of them have been really odd lately. I remember actually one where like Janet Jackson was on, and she had like the nip slip. I was watching
Right.
that, like
Yeah.
I was like drinking milk or something, and like nip popped out. I was like, whoa, like it's just like that was obviously planned. I feel like, like it's they do these things to like get people to want to watch it more, and that's really what it is. It's to pull you in, and then they're going to be able to program you that way. Um,
100%.
so I really recommend that people do watch music videos, be aware of like the artists that you're watching, and then maybe just start to like intentionally look at like what's in the music videos, right?
Read my
Because
blogs and you can understand
yeah,
what's really going on in them. Definitely give them.
exactly.
I'm going to have some
Yeah.
guest writers on soon, writing some different things about the music industry. So we'll stay tuned for
Mhm.
that. But yeah, I was just going to, you brought it up, Tan, and I thought, like, I was already going to bring it up and you brought it up, the sexualizing the music. And I
Yeah.
know for me, if I was watching a film clip where they were like making out in a sexual way, or the woman wasn't wearing very much at all, it would actually drive me towards the pornographic content. I
Oh
would
yeah.
be aroused, I'll be turned on by that. So then
Mhm.
I would want to then be like it's like the dopamine we talk about. I would then go
Yeah.
and yeah.
But let's But to be honest, how many music videos did you actually watch?
Well, that's the thing. Not many, but if I was to watch if I was watching a music video, a lot of them back when I was a kid and teenager were, yeah, the women weren't wearing much.
Yeah, I know, I understand that, but I'm just trying to work out how many you actually watched, unless you were watching the ones I was putting on.
Well, the ones you were putting on, the artists that you listened to were women that were, you know, I thought they were good looking back then.
Yeah. I mean,
Back then
so
I
I
did.
used to actually watch a decent amount of like
Like
rap
Christina
music too.
Aguilera for a start, like that film clip.
Oh yeah.
Which one? Dirty, and then the other one, like she had like,
Candyman?
yeah, that one. Like she wasn't wearing much. And I'm like, wow, as a teenager, I'd be turned on by that.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
Yeah,
I also used to watch like a lot of like rap videos, and they always have like the girls in bikinis everywhere, right?
yeah, all
And
them. Yeah, all them.
it's also interesting because I learned that like a lot of like the artists actually don't own like a lot of that stuff, and they just like rent it out for the music video. And so they're like showing this lifestyle that they're not even actually living. They're just showing this lifestyle, and people want that same lifestyle,
Correct.
but it's not realistic for them to get that lifestyle because it's not really a real thing, right? And I mean, yeah, you can maybe get it, but it's gonna not be a very good life, honestly, right? Sleeping around with women like Nathan, right? And yeah, I mean, there was definitely lots of videos that led me to more porn as well. Like, oh, I saw that music video. Oh, yeah, I'm gonna go jack off now, right? Like, that's honestly very common. I feel like for a lot of guys, they're
A
like
film
watch something
clip
like,
that came
okay,
into my
all right,
mind.
I'm going now. Like, it's time to
There's a
go.
music video that's come into my mind just then that was when I was just discovering porn. It was Britney Spears Toxic when she was kissing that guy on the
Oh
airplane.
yeah.
I'm like, whoa. I'm like, okay. That sort of started because that was 2004, so I was 10. So yeah, that's about when I discovered porn.
See, I think for me it was easier because being gay, back then there wasn't a lot of those kind of videos. So that to me kind of did nothing for me, if I'm being honest. Like it
Yeah,
really
that makes
wasn't of
sense.
interest to me, so I can't really relate in that sense. But yeah,
It's
Yeah.
interesting because yeah, a lot of the boys out there would be aroused by some of the things that's in the film clips at the moment, and the music videos have gotten more sexual because when I started this journey, I turned my back on music and TV shows and movies and all the stuff that programs you. But then,
Mm.
to then go back in with the eyes and the ears to see and listen and to see what's going on, it's blatantly obvious that, they're pretty much putting out their softcore porn.
I feel
Mhm.
though when we talk about the music videos, we also need to talk about some of the live performances because
Oh, well, here we
they
go.
are like so
Oh yeah.
when
You
so
hinted at it.
again.
Tanner hinted at the Super Bowl.
Again, for me, I used to love watching the song live. So if I liked a song, I'd be like, I want to hear it live.
Here we
I
go.
want to see the person sing it live. So I'd always go through YouTube and have to find a live performance of, they could be singing at the Grammys, they could be singing at whatever award show. And yes, I used to love watching the award shows too. So I used to watch them. I used to plan my day so I could watch whatever the award show was, the Grammys, the American Music Awards, all of it. Loved it as a kid. And then to really look back on some of those performances that I used to watch and put my brain through in my mind, I was like, whoa, what am I actually watching here? Like some of the live performances, again, for me, you would think it would be maybe a bit more about the song or it'd just be them standing on the stage singing, but
With the
no,
guitar.
it's some of the live performances, there was a couple of people that I was actually interested in seeing at the Grammys just gone, and I was skipping through because I couldn't be bothered with. I only wanted to see certain performances, and I was like, the rest of them I couldn't give any interest to. And I remember I was like fast forwarding a performance, and it was Olivia Rodrigo singing her song Vampire, literally blood. Well, I'm assuming it's fake blood, but still, it's dripping from the behind her on the stage, and then she's rubbing it all over. And I'm like, the hell is that? Like some of the live performances that are out there, they are probably worse than some of the music videos.
Yeah. I would agree. I mean, I've seen a couple like live concerts, but the ones I went to probably weren't like the ones that you went to. I saw like Tom Petty live, and that was pretty laid back. But I also did actually a lot of my friends used to be like into like dubstep. I'm sure you guys probably know
Yeah,
what
I heard
dubstep is.
Yep.
It's like
I do.
it's like taking techno to like a new level. It's like computer generated like blah 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 blah.
Ah,
And
okay.
so like usually people go when they're like super high or like taking LSD or something like
Which
that. And
is
that's really what a lot of those people at
listen,
those shows would do,
music I'll
right?
listen
So
to for a night out, Tanner.
yeah, and there'd be like lasers going everywhere and like smoke and like light shows and stuff. So I went to a couple of those and those were pretty intense. You can tell like everyone around you was just like super just fucked up. And it was just like, okay. I mean, there wasn't really honestly my scene. But I do like to go into concert and see some people like seeing Tom Petty. I got to see him before he died, and that was really cool to see that concert. And it was actually pouring rain, and me and my friend were like the youngest ones there. Like everyone else there was like probably over 50. So that was kind of cool as well. There just to see like, hey, we're the young ones here, like supported, like repping. But have you been to many concerts?
I've been to a lot. So I probably the main one that came to mind, which was actually the hardest to go to. So I saw Adele in concert, and the reason why I say that was hard was because that day our pop died. So to go to a concert where a lot of her songs are pretty much sad, to sit through that after my pop had just died that day, that was probably the hardest concert I've ever been to. And some of the songs, like already being emotional, already being upset, it was hard to just sit through. And then, she even said herself, like on stage, like, oh, there's not going to be a lot of opportunity to dance. And then when she finally did play like a couple of songs that were a bit more upbeat, it was like, thank God, because my God, I'm like, this is hard. And then most recently, actually, um, when I went back to Victoria, I went and saw Pink in concert, and seeing that with a new set of eyes was really, really interesting. It wasn't overly bad, but there was a couple of moments in her concert where, um, I think she went off stage, she sung 6 songs, went off stage, and she was doing her costume change and whatever, and then she kind of was doing this talking, and it was like breathe and telling you to what do you close your eyes, what do you see, what do you feel, what do you hear? And I was like, what kind of trance are you putting people in? It was really, really interesting because in the amount of concerts I've gone to, I don't remember anyone ever doing that. And I was like, that was, to me, was really bad. And then she made a comment on stage as well, which I'm sure people watching this are probably going to think, oh, some people that love Pink, they're going to be like, it was funny. But she actually admitted and said on stage, she's like, oh, she was talking about the very first concert she did in Melbourne was like 20 years ago. And now she's like, oh, it's so nice that people are bringing those people that have grown up listening to me, they're now bringing their kids to my concert to be corrupted by me. And I'm like, what an interesting choice of words to say they're being
Mm,
corrupted by you, openly admitting it to me. I was like, okay,
yeah.
cool.
Yeah, that's actually very interesting. I mean, I feel like that is the way it is. Like they're being open and like telling people what they're actually doing, but people just aren't paying attention to it, right? Like when you start like paying attention to the lyrics or what they're actually saying, you're like, oh wow, like what? That's interesting. So when you said that was Pink that put you in the trance,
Yeah, yeah.
all
I
right,
didn't
because
pick up like I didn't feel like I was in a trance because when I go to a concert now, I take crystals and I'm like fully protecting myself because I'm like, I'm here just to enjoy some music because I can't help it. I love a good concert. But when I went and saw that, I remember it started and I was like, I think I was talking to my friend at the time, and then I turned and I was like, what is going on here? And then I recorded it because I was really wanting to show Nathan.
Oh, I got it.
Because I was like, I want to send this to Nathan because I'm like, look at what is happening here. And then it was interesting because she had an Aussie artist open for her, Tones and I.
You know Tones and I, Tanner?
no,
Yeah,
Okay,
all
well,
good.
she's she's an interesting one. Like to me, she wasn't bad either. It was the fact that she had the seeing eye on the screen. That was the only thing. It was the only thing. I was like, out of everything, out of every song, like I sat there and watched a lot of it. I was like, oh, okay, well, she isn't bad. This is okay. And then I think it was like her second last song, she puts up the Seeing Eye, and I'm like, okay, cool. I'm gonna take a photo of that and send that to Nathan.
I got that too.
Yeah. That's interesting. Like definitely closing your eyes, telling you to picture something. That's definitely a technique to put someone into hypnosis, like trance, and take their
There's some
conscious mind
pretty
offline.
there's some pretty wild live performances out there. Like Jordy was
Yeah.
playing me a bit of Beyonce's concert from like last year or the year before.
God, when was that? Oh, that was last
It was
year.
last year, and she's putting like she has the spinning. Something was spinning.
She had that weird circle type of
You know the hypnot. You know that little tool the hypnotists use.
The metronome.
Yeah, she's using that. I'm thinking, like, what's that got to do with any of your music? You know what I mean?
It's to program people.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then you look at the wild footage from the Taylor Swift concert that was here in Melbourne as well. And this might sound weird, this might sound whatever it is, but I'm going to call it for what it is. There were energetic portals being opened up in her concert. You could see them. Like there was a video image that I saw where she's singing, I don't know what song it was, and there was literally a portal.
She was singing her song called Willow. I think it was Willow, or it was either Cardigan. It was one of those two songs. And
there was a portal in the background.
The way she had the dances, like I've actually seen it myself. Well, I didn't go to the concert, thank God, but I did see the whole video because it was actually one of the songs when COVID first hit, that those two albums that she did, I was actually interested. I actually liked it. Now looking at it with new eyes, I'm like, oh, probably not something I'm interested in anymore. But I did see the live performance and the way she had the trance and the way she had the dances with the black cloth over their face and that, and it was just very, like, to me it was very witchy in a way. I don't know if that's a word, but I'm going to make it one.
Word.
It was very much like what witches would do, and it kind of put that in my head. I'm like, oh God, what are you doing there? That was really weird.
Because you think about it, like if we say words cast spells, right? So whatever she's singing is casting that spell. Therefore, the background has that, like she's opening up that portal by singing that song, right?
Yeah.
Crazy.
I feel like live performances are very like and like music videos, like they're very powerful because they not only do they have like the songs and the words and the music, they also have like the visuals. And especially when you're live, you have all those other people around you, all that energy. Like it can definitely be very like impactful into your energy in your body. And I feel like they've been focusing a lot on Taylor Swift lately. Like she's been getting so much like viewership on like the Super Bowl stuff. I don't know if you saw like that Ice Spice person she was with.
Very
doing,
hard
like,
not
weird,
to see it.
I have an opinion on that. I just want to jump in.
Okay.
I have an opinion on
go.
that. So my opinion, I remember when Mum and Dad picked me up from the airport, Dad asked me what my opinion was on this whole Taylor Swift and Travis relationship. I openly said, and I was very, very tired at the time because they picked me up at like midnight. Anyway, I remember saying that I feel the NFL, is it NFL? Oh, yeah, the NFL. I feel like they are using this whole relationship to get more viewership and get more eyes on the NFL because Taylor Swift is massive worldwide. She's like massive. Everyone knows her. Everyone seems to like her, and they're kind of using her platform to be like, oh, if we watch the NFL, oh, we might be seeing Taylor Swift. Oh, who's she sitting with? Oh, we gotta, let's watch it. And then it's like, it's taking away the focus from the actual sport. So then it's like, oh, people are watching it, hoping to see Taylor Swift sitting in the crowd, hoping to see her, I don't know, jump on the footy field and hug her boyfriend or kiss him or whatever. And it's like, well, to me, I just feel like the whole relationship is a publicity stunt, and it's just to get more eyes on the NFL, because from what I've heard and what I've seen, the NFL viewership, especially the Super Bowl, was dropping.
Oh yeah.
So what better way to get more eyes on the NFL than to pluck out a relationship with Taylor Swift and, oh my God, she's sitting in the crowd.
Like you can tell the whole thing's fake because a few weeks ago she was here in Australia and there was this fanfare about this dude flying over here from America. They're all at the plane waiting for him. What?
Weren't they waiting at the plane for her?
For her as well, but then there was media coverage of them waiting for him too.
Oh God. I didn't
Yeah,
know that.
I used to. So when I go to the gym, there's a breakfast show here called Sunrise on our main TV channels, and the start of that's on when I'm working out. So in between sets, I'll just take a quick look and see what's going on. And there, they had a reporter there waiting for Travis Scott. Is it?
No, that's a rapper. It's
What's
Travis.
What's this dude's name? Travis something.
Yeah.
I don't know, honestly.
What this guy called Travis? They're actually waiting for him because then they followed them from the plane. Taylor was there, and after that, they went to a zoo somewhere. They went to Melbourne Zoo or somewhere, and they were following them around the zoo. They had the chopper. They had the footage from the bird's eye view of them walking around the zoo. It's like,
Yeah, because they
who cares?
Again, the news are using her platform to be like, oh my God, we're going to highlight Taylor Swift on the news. Oh my God, all the Swifties are going to be watching it. And also,
Yeah.
I actually don't know if you know this, but this is quite funny. So I saw an article and I
Here we
clicked
go.
on it because I was really curious because I thought this was because the headline was kind of interesting. And it was about the Taylor Swift and all that. A whole bunch of fans were waiting at the airport for her. Turns out what had arrived was her outfits, not her. So they all stood at the airport
Oh my God.
waiting to see Taylor Swift, but the plane arrives and it was literally just her outfits.
An airplane full of outfits.
Yeah.
Her
Yeah.
outfits for her
And
concert.
I think it was the crew or whatever, and some of the,
Okay.
so it was
Alright.
literally for the outfits and some of the crew, but not actually her.
Right.
I just thought it was
Wow.
I thought it was funny.
It's just
That is
wild.
funny.
There's these. It's just you can call it for what it is. It's mind control, right? Like
Mhm.
you go back and you do your homework on the Tavistock Institute. We'll put a link to that in the bottom. Where remember when JFK was shot? We're going back a bit here. I've done a little bit of homework on this. JFK was shot, and then 2 weeks later, or 3 weeks later, he had Beatlemania. So they used the energy of the sadness of the JFK hero being shot to then the Beatles just formed out of nowhere, and you had these screaming girls by the plane. Everyone was screaming girls. Those screaming girls, that's a Tavistock Institute mind control operation that they use to distract everyone away from the sadness of JFK. And it's like, what are they doing with Taylor Swift? What are they distracting us from now with this Swifty fanfare rubbish?
And then wasn't
Yeah.
something with the Spice Girls as well?
Yeah,
Didn't
there's
they
something
form-
happened. They formed after a death of a hero again. It might have even
Yeah.
been JFK Jr. Because he died in the plane. He died in the helicopter crash. There you go. I'm pretty sure it might have been JFK Jr.
That's interesting for sure.
Interesting how they're both British bands too.
Yeah, one was a boy band, then one was a girl band. Interesting.
I feel like there's a lot of like people just like becoming famous out of nowhere, and I feel a lot of them like sell their souls or like, agree to do something very negative for
There's
that
some
fame.
wild videos out
And they
there
get the
about that.
blackmail on them, right?
Like,
Yeah, I mean, there's a
some
lot of people
wild
come out
videos
like
there about that.
whistleblowers and talk about it. Mhm.
My interpretation and what I feel and what I've seen, I truly believe the real Taylor Swift, the real one, the real version of her, was before she went to pop.
The country singer.
The
one that
singer,
sang Love Story
I
and
truly believe that was the real Taylor Swift. And then whatever version they've rolled out now is whatever word you want to use. I just don't believe that's the real Taylor. I also believe, from what I have seen, the real Miley Cyrus before she went off the rails. From what I've seen,
after Hannah Montana.
After Hannah Montana.
Yeah.
I used to watch that
to
show.
me, that was the real Miley Cyrus, and then whatever happened after that. And then you look at another one like Demi Lovato coming from Disney. I truly believe the real one was around until she had that overdose.
Mhm.
I believe she died, and then the one that they've rolled out now seems to be a they them seems to be wanting to sleep with whatever, and the music of her, because I used to like her music. Her music's even changed to this rock dark music, and I'm like, what is this? That's not the Demi Lovato I remember.
Yeah. Britney Spears shaving her head bald.
Yeah.
Oh man, there was another one. Let's go. Hillary Duff or whatever.
Christina
Like there's like
Aguilera, another one.
who?
Christina Aguilera.
Oh yeah, I feel like there's so many examples of like artists like going over the deep end from all this stuff,
It's
and
like, why do
then
they have that
them
deep end
changing
moment?
drastically.
Where's the real one
Yeah,
gone?
But then it's interesting because Christina Aguilera never really had a moment. I just believe that that moment when she kissed Madonna was when she changed. Because if you look at it, that's when she started the dirty journey and started her music change. Well, her music kind of changed more provocative and more sexual after that. Because
Mhm.
again, I used to like Christina Aguilera too until yeah. Then she had that moment where she kissed Britney Spears and Madonna on the award show, and geez, didn't she change after that?
Mm.
Yeah. Did you guys ever see the movie? Oh man, what was it called? I'll have to come back to that one because it was like about like a rapper's career. Like it had Easy E in it and Dr. Dre and all of them in it.
Like a Juice World or a
Compton. I think it was Compton.
Straight Outta
I can't remember
Compton?
what the movie was called.
Straight Outta
I'm blanking on
Compton?
the name of the book, but the reason or the movie, but the reason I bring it up is because they talked about how their producer was like pushing them to make a certain kind of music. Like, we're not going to play your music if it's not like this, because this is what we want to sell. And they pretty much said, no, like, F you, we're going to play whatever we want to play. And it does make me think about like a lot of like artists that are actually getting pushed to do something or getting censored. Actually, one like artist that I've liked for a while, like Van Morrison, I feel like he has some really cool music. And during like the COVID stuff, he came out and started singing songs about how like lockdowns were like not a good thing, and like talking about it. So I actually like when some artists actually have some like backbone and like stand up to say like, no, this is not right, because like Jordy said before, a lot of people idolize these people, right? And
Yeah.
so when like and that really has a big effect on our minds as well. When we start idolizing someone, when we see them do something, we're much more likely to do it because we think it's like much safer to do it. And that's why they pay these like celebrities like millions of dollars just to go do like a commercial, right? Like,
100%. And
mhm.
even to your point, I was going to say, so I'm a fan of Kelly Clarkson, and I know to me she can go either way, whether she's bad or a good one. But I just remember that interview she did with Kevin Hart, and she openly said, I was offered millions of dollars to do something, and I refused to do it. And then Kevin Hart tried to shut her up and tried to be like, no, no, we're not talking about that. And she also openly said that when she was her contract after winning American Idol, her contract ended, so she could now make the music that she wants to make and not what the producers and whatever else and the record label wanted her to make. And that to me was like another interesting thing to be like, why are you openly saying that now? And I know she has a talk show and she has some of the interesting people on, but in my opinion, she can go either way.
Yeah. I mean, that is interesting. Like a lot of people I think it's like some artists like don't feel right about it, but they almost like are stuck in it.
Yeah.
And like a lot of people talk about how like there's like they hold blackmail over these people, and so they may like try to say something, but they don't want to say it fully because they want to get that blackmail exposed. Which, obviously we need these people to speak up and tell us about what's really going on. And when people do, they get censored or get called lunatics or
Well, let's tell
And,
for what it
and
is, Tanner. When people do
well,
speak up about it, they get taken out.
yeah, they get killed. Yeah,
They're
they get
gone. They're not here
they
anymore.
get offed. Yeah,
but to fully speak up about it, like not like with Kelly Clarkson, for instance, to just kind of hint at it, like fully
yeah,
speak about it, fully open up and tell us. And and I guess she's to probably in her defense, maybe she's seen some of the people speak up and be taken out. So she's like, well, I'm just going to hint at it, but I'm also going to continue doing what I can to not obviously go too far. So it's
right.
definitely interesting. And that's why in my mind she could go either way. I'm totally open to it. Like I'm a fan of her
Mhm.
music, but yeah, her as a person, go either way.
Yeah, I feel that way about like Tom McDonald because he talks about like a lot of like the bullshit of the system and stuff. But then a lot of his music is like more negative, and he's like yelling more, and like I find like I used to listen to that a lot like during like the whole COVID stuff because I was like, yeah, I really vibe with this because it's talking about like just the injustices and like what's wrong with going on. But then I started listening to it more, and I was like, man, this is like more angry music, and I'm getting more angry myself. So I had to like distance myself from like that kind of music. But I do like if I listen to a song now, usually I'm like, oh, they're talking about like what's really going on in the world. Yeah, I'm going to support this person and listen to it because I like when like an artist is actually using their words to like bring awareness to what's going on.
Or if it's empowering music, or they're singing in
Yeah,
frequencies. Like I have a friend
yeah.
that's sitting over here now on the couch. Her friend has a band and they sing in the 528 frequency. So they're singing a song, but it's
Awesome.
in the 528 frequency.
Nice. I love it.
I don't know another one.
I'll support that.
And I know another one that
Yeah.
I really like. So I really like Jewel. And I know, again, she could probably go either way personally, but a lot of her music is just her and a guitar. Like there's no other, there's not a lot of drums, there's not a lot of other instruments that can be a bit more dark and make you really, feel a certain way. And the reason why I like her music is because she's openly said that she's written all of it, she owns it, it's hers, it's and a lot of the songs are very interesting in the story that she's telling. And that's the thing, I like a good storyteller. So if you're gonna tell me a story, I'll listen to it. And that's the kind of music I like. And when she's singing different songs, like, You Were Meant for Me, it's a beautiful love song. Like there's some really good music of hers that I really, really like.
So
Yeah, that's
there are those singers out there. They're
yeah.
independent. They're not mainstream. You won't hear them on the radio, but they are out there.
Definitely. There's another person I listen to sometimes. His name is Guidance. He put a whole album out during COVID that was in 432 hertz, which I thought was cool. But he was just talking about like how COVID's a sham and like just talking about that kind of stuff. So yeah. I mean, yeah, we'll have
Yeah.
to put like maybe a list together of music that we like, and maybe put that in the show notes as well so people can find it. And then I encourage anyone who is like listening as well. If you guys have some good music that you know is good or that you guys like, post it in the comments so we can see as well. Because I'm always down to find some more music that has a good
Not the only
message
one.
or people talking about it.
So to wrap things up, to empower people after that enlightening chat, if there's someone out there who's listening to this and they've just had their world turned upside down by what the music industry is doing, what would be your advice to that person that's just started that journey of, wow, the music I've been listening to has been programming me to do a certain thing? How can they walk a path now that's more enlightening and more empowering? Tanner, we'll start with you.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, what I would say is just to start become more aware of what's going on, right? Everything doesn't have to change instantly. You don't have to get rid of all the songs right away. Just start to listen to the music and start to ask yourself, is this really what I want to be like programming my mind with? Does it actually make me feel good after I listen to the song? Like really like start to listen to like what they're saying in it. And as you do, you'll just maybe start to filter out some of the songs and start to replace them with something better. That's what I recommend.
Jordy?
I 100% agree. And even to your point, I would say, filter out, like if you really like this artist and really like a lot of their music, start to filter out the songs that are programming and the songs that are making you feel, even some of the songs that are actually making you feel sad just listening to it, or the songs that are making you feel a certain emotion that you're not currently feeling. Start to filter out those songs and then find, like, some of the artists that we have mentioned, they do have songs that aren't as bad, that aren't as programming, that are a little bit more uplifting. So I would start to filter your music and start to change that way so that you're listening to more, more empowering songs. And then that will slowly start to change to, okay, well, now I can start to ease myself off that artist because their songs, they don't have as many, you're kind of changing your music that way. And that's what I personally did. Because some of them I've really, really enjoyed, and yeah, I needed to filter out, and then it kind of just dwindled to the point now where I'm like, half of them I don't even listen to anymore. They could have put a new song out. I remember I was a fan of Beyonce, so I went back and mum's like, oh, a lot of my music my mum listens to as well, and she's like, oh, did you hear Beyonce did a country song? And I'm like, what? No, I was kind of curious because I used to listen to a lot of Beyonce. So I was like, well, what the hell is this? And I'm like, yeah, just it's that kind of moment of like going back and listening to that person again and going, okay, what the hell are they singing about now? That music changes, even their music changes, and kind of caught me off guard. I was like, I wouldn't have picked that. So, you know, just filter out. I think filter your music and really start to change that way.
Yep. I
Somebody-
want to, yeah, I love that. I want to add one thing too.
Go for it.
Just you don't always have to be listening to something or watching something. Sometimes just sitting alone with your thoughts. A lot of the time, sitting alone with your thoughts can be really helpful, especially if you haven't done that much before. Because I think a lot of us just haven't really sat with ourselves and like felt our own emotions and allowed ourselves to just to think through things, right? Like always listening to something, always watching something is just a distraction sometimes, and sometimes you just need to sit there and just feel what you need to feel.
And that's a good piece of
100%.
advice that I can sort of just finish off with this too. If you're wanting to do that, the best place to be is by the beach. If you can't get to the beach, out in nature, sitting with a tree and just listening to the birds, listening to the. But you also listen to your own thoughts. But like, there's birds chirping. You could have like animals come and join you, like butterflies and that. You know, you can sit in places of peace and comfort. I tend to just love going out into nature and just sitting with a tree or sitting with my feet in the ground and just being and just whatever. And just, you know, because I used to be one that would enjoy listening or watching something. Well, then I could listen and watch nature and just watch a kangaroo hop by or, you know, watch a butterfly fly away or watch an eagle. Like I was at the mountains last week, watch this massive eagle fly over the mountains. It's like I was watching nature. Like,
Whereas I would prefer to watch, like, I'd go to the ocean. I'd prefer to listen to the waves and watch them crash against the rocks. Like that to me is um, more sort of I don't want to say hypnotizing, but it kind of is in a way. Like it kind of puts you in that, you know, you kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Like a meditative state, and
That's
you
it.
kind of
Yeah.
that to me is more enjoyable than going out in nature. Because I mean, we live where we are living, you know, we see all the butterflies and everything. So I'm like, I've seen enough of that. I want to be at the ocean.
well, we're lucky where we live. We live 20 minutes away from Glasshouse Mountains. We live 10 minutes away from the beach. We've got the best of both worlds where we are right now. It's very,
That's
very,
awesome.
yeah.
But, you know, I love that point because I think a lot of people like when they go out on walks and stuff just are like I just like when I'm walking I always see a lot of people's like headphones in all the time.
But they're looking
They're never
down their
listening to
phones too. They're looking down their phones. People go for walks and looking down.
yeah, like that nature sound, like just whether it be the ocean, birds, or just crickets, or like whatever it may be. That's just like the sound of the leaves rustling, right? Like it's been proven to just help you relax, de-stress you out, and I think just ground you and get you more in tune with where we're supposed to be. Honestly, we're always connected to something now. We just need to deconnect ourselves and put ourselves back into nature more.
100%.
So
Good way to finish. Thanks for jumping on, gentlemen. I appreciate the chat today. This will be on Tanner's platform too. Thank you for listening and watching wherever in the world you are. I'm Nathan Francis, the host of Break Free Podcast. This is my brother Jordy and Tanner. Thank you for joining me today, gentlemen.
Thank you.
thank you guys. Thank you so much.
I'll chat to you every day, but I'll chat to you, everyone else, again soon. Thank you, and
Thank you guys.
good night, good day, good evening. Have an awesome day, have an awesome night wherever you are. And just remember, always reach out and ask for help. It's the best thing we all did. So we'll finish with that as well. So see you guys soon. Cheers.